Everyone. Yay! I am live right now on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm going to go live right now on Instagram. I have my phone above, so I'm going to try and do all three. Let's see how this works. Hey, everyone. I'm live right now on Instagram, and I'm also live down. I have my computer right below. I'm trying to do all three at the same time because this is something I really wanted to do for a while, and I wanted to unbox this breastfeeding pacifier. So if you see me, I'm kind of not sure where to look, but I'm super excited to show you this. So right now, I'm just going to give it a few minutes, and I'm trying to figure out all this technology, and it's so weird because it's like Instagram is like it's good, like my hair, and then down here, it's like the opposite. My like face is flipped, and it's very funny. Okay, so I'm doing this live today because when I had children, I was looking for a pacifier to give them when I was breastfeeding, and I could never, ever find a pacifier that any of them would take. Now, let me tell you, Carter was early. He was born at 37 and 1, and at that time, we were having so many struggles with breastfeeding, anyways, that I didn't even want to give him a pacifier because he was early and he was sleepy. He wouldn't even latch on the breast. And then he ended up having to be readmitted for jaundice and a whole bunch of things. So I never gave him a pacifier, and he was able to self soothe and be okay. Now, Camden, he was my very odd, super sleepy baby. He started sleeping through the night at like 3 months, and he became a thumb sucker. And that is something that we're actually dealing with right now. I'm actually going to be buying these things called T-guards to put on both of his thumbs because he is 5. He's going to be 6 in April, and he already has a dead tooth in the front that he hit, and it's constantly pressing. So now we need to like do some interventions. So he became a thumb sucker. He never needed to take a pacifier because he could soothe himself with his own thumb. Now Evie, little girl, love her, but she was tough. So if I never had breastfed and I wasn't in this realm of maternity as a maternity nurse for the last 7 years and have done this, I would have seriously thought that something was wrong. Because in the first couple days when I'm trying to get my milk in, she was clustering and clustering, and she was she was just like screaming her head off. And I was like, I had already hand expressed like 60 mLs plus of colostrum before delivery, and I had some extra, and I was like giving it to her and giving it to her, and she was just like not having it. She was like, I want more volume and I want it now. And there was one night, I literally kid you not, I think it was the second night. So she was born at like 11:14. And then the next night going into the next one, I was like, I think it was like midnight. I told Evan, I was like, Evan, listen, I think you need to go to the store like right now and go get a pacifier. And he was like, why? And I was like, because I'm desperate. I was like, she will not stop. I was like, I've nursed her. I've given her extra colostrum. I was like, literally, I was like, there's nothing. I was like, we need to sleep. So he ran out and he had to go to Austin. Now we live in the outskirts. We live in like the suburbs of Austin, Texas. And he had to go out at like midnight to go get a pacifier and then brought it home. And I was literally just trying, I had told him to get like 2 different ones. I was like just trying to hold it in her mouth, and she would not take it. Like, I kid you not. She wanted nothing to do with the pacifier. It was horrible. Like, I couldn't even hold it in her mouth and like walk around with her and soothe her. And eventually she would just fall asleep. Absolutely not. She just kept spitting it out. So overall, none of my kids took a pacifier, and they were all exclusively breastfed for minimum of 13 months, and not one of them took a pacifier. Granted, Cam did become a thumb sucker. So that is not fun. But I have been looking and searching. So I had my first child back in 2015. So that was Carter. So he's 7 now. And I have been a maternity nurse since, and constantly looking for a pacifier for breastfeeding infants. And now, with the more that I know, I help teach parents at the bedside about oral suck training and skills, and looking at the amount of cheek fat that they have, and if they are large enough, like what's their mouth size? Do they have like a receding chin? All these kind of things can definitely make breastfeeding a little harder. So sometimes I actually teach dads that while mom's getting up to the bathroom and she's changing her pads and things after delivery, to have dad unswaddle baby, get the diaper change, and then what I'll have him do is I'll have him do some oral suck training. Well, guess what? This pacifier that I have found is absolutely amazing, and it is actually recommended by speech therapists to help improve your baby's rhythm of their tongue and to help them with strengthen their oral skills. So now what I mean by oral skills is the baby's mostly their tongue and their muscles in their jaw. Okay, so when the baby latches, right? Okay, this is their like lower jaw, but their tongue, okay, I'm going to do it with this hand. Their tongue makes like a flowing motion like this, and the tongue goes up and then compresses back, and that's how it's like compressing the breast, and they suction that breast all the way into the back of the mouth to release the colostrum in the milk. So a baby needs a strong tongue to really kind of compress that breast tissue and get all that colostrum. Now, I always like to have moms also hand express before in the beginning so they can see how much work it is to get the colostrum out of the breast, because it can be pretty far back there. Like your breast ducts go all the way back to like the talus spence. This is like the part in your armpit. So it can go all the way back. So I have moms try to hand express a couple times so they can see how much effort it takes to actually get that colostrum out. So now if you have an early baby that's like a late pretermer or preterm infant, has a receding chin, has a tongue tie, or just has like a really high palate, there's multiple things that can really have your baby struggle with breastfeeding. So this pacifier can actually help them with the oral skills anytime that they are done nursing, and then they can practice that. So usually I teach this to dads because it's something easy that they can do and help mom with their baby and help mom in a different way with breastfeeding, is to help their baby with the oral skills. So this pacifier actually helps that, so the dads don't have to do it. But I still like the dads to do it in the beginning because I think it's a really great thing for them. They feel acknowledged and they feel like they get to help with their baby and help mom with their breastfeeding journey. So I think it's adorable, and I always get dads right in there. Like I'll have some of these dads sometimes and they're literally like sitting on the bed and they're just like looking around as I'm talking and everything, and I go, "Okay, dad, you ready? You gonna wash your hands, gonna put on a glove?" And they're like, "Wait, what? I'm doing it?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, you're doing it." I'm just showing you. I was like, but you're going to do it for the next like 2 to 3 minutes and get them in a good rhythm of suck, swallow, breathe, suck, swallow, breathe. That's like a good pattern. And some of these late preterm babies, or if they have a really bad restricting tongue tie, they are just so confused. I call them just like, or very sleepy babies in that first 24 hours. They're very uncoordinated and they tend to like bite with their gums, or they'll like get on like a piranha and they just don't know what to do. And so I like to call like oral suck training as like just another tool, like you're having what you call it? Hold on. I'm having a brain fart right now. I'm training wheels. Training wheels on a bike it's something that's going to help, and then eventually you take it away. You don't have to do this forever. But the oral suck training definitely helps. So dads do that for a few minutes while mom goes to the bathroom, then comes back and gets that baby in a better rhythm for breastfeeding. So I love to teach dads that, but I have this pacifier from Ninni, and I just I'm so envious that I didn't find this when I had children, because man, I mean, even breastfeeding, I absolutely love breastfeeding, but there were some times where I was like desperate that they would take a pacifier, and they never did. So I really wish I had found this earlier. But this is the Ninni pacifier. Actually, one of my friends right now, Ashley, her daughter one day before I knew about this I was like, what is that in her mouth? Because it looked like a bottle nipple. It looked like she had just screwed up a bottle nipple, and her daughter was just sucking on it. And I was like, I don't know if Ashley's not watching. I was like, Ashley, I was like, is she sucking on like a bottle nipple top? And she goes, oh no, that's the Ninni pacifier. She's like, it looks kind of large, huh? All right, so cute little packaging, Ninni. So this was, I think their names are Joy and Jane, and super nice. And they are two breastfeeding mamas, and they were looking for the same thing, something to help a baby that was silicone, like BPA free, all of those things that really mimic the breast and help them with their oral skills. Like, I'm so thankful and grateful that they spent the time, the energy, the money, the research on doing this, because this should be in every single hospital. Like, I have worked in the hospital for 7 years and I literally can't stand. I don't mind. It's your choice to have a pacifier, because there's nothing wrong with using a pacifier. It's giving it to some of these parents. Just the shape of it is just too much. We give the Advent ones. It's very common. Hospitals have those, but it's just so narrow that it's not really confusing the baby for nipple confusion. It's really more about their jaw. So think about, man, I don't even have like a regular bottle nipple, but those pacifiers are so thin. They're like this thin, right? So think about it. When the baby's holding on to that, their mouth has to be super narrow and small in their jaw. Now, when they're on the breast, what do you want? When they're on the breast, you want, if this is your breast, you want the baby opened wide, relaxed, and deep on the breast, like a nice wide jaw and relaxed, so they can nurse. Now, these other pacifiers are super narrow, so they have to keep a super narrow, small mouth and do small sucks while holding on. So then they go from that to the breast and they have to move their jaw in a different way. And it really kind of screws them up. I don't think it's really confusion of nipples. I think it's confusion of their jaw positioning and that. So this is the Ninni pacifier. And are you ready for this? Are you ready? Oh, there it is. I love it. But doesn't it look okay, right? If I put it in my mouth, right? Doesn't it takes up like my whole face? Now think of a baby. This was my friend, and her daughter had it on in her mouth, and I was like, that is like a whole bottle cap. Okay. So super cute, right? If you can see it, and just it's like super flexible. It's extremely soft. Okay, so extremely soft. So it's trying to mimic the breast tissue a lot. A lot more than the other ones. Like, if you see any other pacifiers, they are some very odd shapes. I'm not going to lie. But you can see this one, how it has a wider base, and that's going to be better too, because you want to make sure the baby's lips are flanged out like a fish, okay? And they are deep on this pacifier and doing that suck motion. See like how thin it is? Can you guys see that? Like, it doesn't take much to, this is a little thicker, but this base is super thin, and it can really help that baby work that tongue. So I love it. I'm besides myself, guys. Like, I was so desperate to find a pacifier that was breast like and would help my baby and not be confused and have like a deep wide latch and still learn the rhythm. So when the baby's on, right, if this is their mouth, their tongue should be doing like this flowing, I can't do it backwards, like this flowing movement on the pacifier, and it really mimics the breast, and it's super soft. See, it's like super soft and stretchy and very thin, and I just love it. I think it's fantastic what they did and how they found this, and it's really going to help infants with their oral skills and suck training. So if you know you have potentially like preeclampsia, gestational diabetes, actually not even gestational diabetes, but IUGR, infant uterine growth restriction, or if you know you're going to have a small baby or anything like that, where they're going to be smaller and maybe come a little earlier. Oh, sorry, hold on, my phone's. If you know that they're going to come a little earlier, then I would recommend this pacifier, because if dad's not available to constantly do some oral suck training, this would be a great other option that you could do, is really giving this to your baby to help with oral suck training. Now, for pacifiers, I never recommend usually using them in the first couple of days, especially if you're a first-time mom. Mamas, if you have never had a baby before and you have never breastfed before, please, please, please do not use a pacifier right away. Really try. Hey, Ashley. Okay, guys, Ashley's on. Ashley, here's the pacifier that Brooke had. Remember I was asking you and I was like, oh, it looks like a bottle nipple. So this is it. Okay, but yeah, so it's really awesome. And I don't recommend using pacifiers in the beginning. Sorry, I'm getting hot. because your baby's trying to cluster feed and bring in your milk. So if you're constantly giving them a pacifier, you might be missing those early feeding cues. And so if you, in the beginning days when they're cluster feeding, if you've nursed both sides and they kind of have those relaxed arms, relaxed hands, and they look very well fed and everything with the colostrum, you're not going to feel any difference in your breast. Usually they're still going to be really soft for the first couple days. Then after you know your baby is very well fed, you can use the pacifier. If they start waking up again, like another 15, 20 minutes, that's part of the cluster feeding phase. If they're popping it out constantly and they're not holding on to it, they're telling you that they are still hungry. So I would definitely try to not use it in the first couple days, especially get a hang on breastfeeding. Make sure you know positioning well and know a deep latch and things like that. However, kind of contradicting myself, but if your baby does have a tongue tie or is a severe like preterm or small infant, then it could actually be more beneficial than I think. But we don't have these in the hospital, and I haven't seen a patient have one of these yet. And I've been telling people about it when I have them and I'm helping with breastfeeding, but I actually haven't had them come in with them. So, I mean, marketing is hard, to get the world, but can you imagine if every hospital that had these and breastfeeding babies, this would be awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I just love it. And I'm not having any more kids, guys, but I am all here for you to share the best breastfeeding things because I seriously looked for these pacifiers forever. And I'm so happy that these moms took the time and the energy to make these. So again, this is the Ninni pacifier. They come in all kinds of super cute colors too. Like this is just a gray color, but they come in like all these pastel colors like purple, blue, green, the gray, and it's just super cute. They have clips and stuff too, but it's super soft. You can see it. It like bends and everything, and the top is, oops, sorry, down here too. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do Facebook as well, and I'm missing right here. You can see it's super soft and everything. So I absolutely love it. So if anybody has any questions, if I were to have another child tomorrow, hands down, I would have this ready to go at the bedside, and I would have this Ninni pacifier. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm being straightforward and honest and see it be used in an infant myself because I show all the dads how to do oral suck training, but I would love to like open up their mouth a little bit and pull down their chin and really see them use this and see how that tongue is working, because really that's the goal. It's to help you improve your baby's oral strength so they breastfeed better and they can pull that colostrum better, because there's nothing like my son when he was 37 and 1 weeks and he had really really weak oral skills. Like, guys, I'm not even like exaggerating. He couldn't do anything at the breast. He never breastfed in the hospital ever. And then when we got home, I was trying so desperately to breastfeed him, and he would just get on and be super sleepy, wouldn't do anything. And he ended up having to be readmitted for jaundice. But this would have definitely helped because he was super uncoordinated, would like get on the breast like a piranha and then just not do anything. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is the problem? So yeah. So this is the Ninni pacifier. Cute brand. Oh, it is Jane. It's Jane and Joy is the co-founders. So this is them. Super cute. Here, I'm just showing it to everybody. Whoop. Super cute. I love it. Guys, I don't even have a coupon code from them or anything. I love it. Made in the USA, like all clean ingredients for babies. They have a little QR code for like tips for success. I love it. I'm very jealous that I didn't have this when I had kids. But if anybody uses this or has used it, please let me know what you think. And if you feel like it's improving your baby's oral skills, because I would love to hear some feedback on that. But I just think it's absolutely phenomenal. And I recommend to everybody to have one of these if you're going to breastfeed, because you will not have some confusion in between breastfeeding and using the pacifier. So this will really, really be beneficial. So I think that's it. I could talk all day about breastfeeding, guys, but I think I'm going to go. And did you like when I put it in my mouth? That was pretty funny. I mean, but when you see some infants, like with it like on their website and everything. It just looks so big because it takes up like their whole face, but it's worth it because it's a good pacifier. All right. Well, people that joined in late, check the beginning of the video because I talked a little bit about some backstory about breastfeeding and pacifier use too, so you can check that out. But I think I'm just going to keep it short and sweet, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day. It's kind of like super humid right now, and I did my hair and now it's getting all bleh from the weather. But I hope everybody has a wonderful day. And this was me going live on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm pretty sure my head was cut off a lot on Facebook and YouTube. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I gotta try it sometime and see how it goes. So everybody have a wonderful day, and we will chat soon. Bye. Oh. Oh gosh. All right, now this one isn't working. Bye.